Welcome to the Making of Me podcast. Today we have our David McNally, a bestseller author, a Hall of Fame speaker, and expert on vital aging, helping people discover purpose and thrive at every stage of life. David, it's really an honor and a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Yes, an honor to be on your show. Looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I believe it all began. I was a very young person at the time in my 20s, and I heard a speaker. His name was Zig Ziglar.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Yes.
And so I found him so inspiring, and I think what was most important was that he opened me up to the possibilities for my life that I had never anticipated before. And so I found that very encouraging and very inspiring. And it started me on the journey of saying, okay, what did I want for my life? If I could have what I loved, what would that look like? And that's what began the journey. And so I have been in the field of personal growth and development in human potential for nearly 50 years now. So
Oh,
I've been doing this a very long time, but that's where it all began, and I still love it. And one of the things I find as I've gotten older is that the opportunity to grow and learn never goes away. The body may slow down, it may have more aches and pains, but the imagination can still be vibrant. You can still imagine lots of things and create lots of things. And that's the journey of life. Some people think when they're younger, they look at an older person and say, well, their life is over. And I say, no, it's not over till it's over.
yeah, that's so true. I mean, I think that's just one of his quotes. It's not over about it. Yeah, amazing. So you often talk about purpose and meaning. How can someone rediscover their purpose later in life or after a major transition?
Well, I think purpose is a constant throughout life. And what I mean by that is that we always need a reason to get up in the morning. And the more compelling that reason is, the more inspiring that reason is, or the more meaningful it is, the better it is for all of us. Now, obviously, one reason to get up in the morning is to go to work, feed your family, earn some money, whatever that might be. But when I talk about purpose, I'm talking about something greater and much more significant than that. And that is answering the question, why am I here? Here I am, a very unique, a very special human being. No one like me has ever been created before. So what is it that I bring to the world that nobody else does? And I can offer that to the world. Now, of course, that's a big thing to think about, but I do believe it's one of the healthiest ways to look at our lives that I like to say it this way. We are a part of the march of humanity. All of us, we're helping humanity move forward, and each of us has a role. There was a very famous architect in the United States called Buckminster Fuller. He was a visionary, and he used to say, on spaceship Earth, there are no passengers, only crew. So all of us have to participate in life and doing what we can to help move the world forward. So our purpose, if we want to bring it down to an individual level, is the way I like to say it is to shift the word purpose into contribution. What is it that we have to contribute? And looking at it this way, that is the way we fulfill our purpose. So this contribution is a big part of our conversation.
So, what is one lesson or principle that guide you consistently throughout your career and life?
I'm going to go back to the word that we talked about as the word contribution.
Yeah.
And so the principle is the principle of contribution. So if you and your listeners think about it, the world revolves around contribution. So let's start off with a lesson in relationships. When we look at the relationships we have in our lives and the ones that are really important and meaningful to us, what we discover is that the basis of that relationship is that person contributes to my life. That person makes my life meaningful. So rich relationships are built on helping each other and understanding and supporting each other as we go through life. And the more we contribute, the richer the relationship. So you can follow that through into work and business and anything like that. You know, one of the things I like to, when I'm teaching within corporations and I'm speaking to leaders, everyone answers the question, for example, what is a business is all about? And people answer the question with, well, it's about making money. That's what a business is. I want to make a lot of money. Well, I know this sounds a little humorous, but the answer to that is that you can't make money because it's illegal to make money, right? So I know I'm playing on a word and this is
Yeah.
semantics, but changing the word changes the way we understand how we get money, or that's in a successful business. The money is earned. Money is a result. It's a reward. You don't make it, you earn it. And how do you earn it? You earn it by providing great quality service and products to your customers, and you look after your customers very, very well. And then as a result of that contribution to them, then you get to earn money. When I look at a young person, so I speak at colleges, for example, in the United States, I tell young people who are about to graduate, hey, don't expect anybody to give you a job. Businesses are not in the business of giving people jobs, but businesses want people who will contribute to their success. So a young person needs to look at what do I have in my gifts, talents, skills, and abilities that I could use to help that business be successful. Then I get a good chance to get the job that I want and then to go forward and upwards in my career. So that principle, the principle of contribution, the one that goes fundamentally, for example, if the farmer wants to grow a crop, they have to sow the seeds. They have to contribute to the seeds to the earth. Then they have to nurture, and then they have to nourish it, and then it will sprout and bring forth crops. That principle revolves around everything. You cannot get away from that. And people who are not contributing will just continue perhaps to survive, but they will not thrive. It is the contributors that have the best chance of thriving.
Amazing. Our life is all about contributions. Even the money we actually get to earn from the work we do, it's the fact that they value our contribution and it's their way of saying thank you for contributing. And just listening to you make reference of that, just speak volumes. So yeah, seeing life as our contributions make it easier for people actually more like laying a happy hands, do the work they do passionately, other than from the external goal, which is more I just want to make money without viewing how can I make more contribution to the outside world. And this is really amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
So you have actually worked for top companies and leaders around the world. What is one common trait you notice among the most successful people?
Well, if you're looking at leadership, the number one quality of a really good leader is self-awareness. They are aware of who they are and the impact that they have on others. So they understand their strengths and they understand what they're not so strong at. And they also understand their purpose as a leader, as distinct from what their purpose is as a manager. So to be clarified that managers are responsible for tasks being accomplished, right? That's what a manager is about, getting tasks and things accomplished. A leader is responsible for getting those tasks done and done well through other people. So if you look at what the purpose of a leader is, the purpose of a leader is to inspire people to want to do their jobs, to fulfill their jobs in a way that is excellent and goes away and above maybe the job description. So a leader is there to inspire others. And they inspire others by bringing out their gifts and talents, by acknowledging them, by reinforcing them, by complimenting them, by making sure that that person knows that they are highly valued and they're a very important part of the organization. That is leadership. And that is the type of person, right, that others will follow, because a leader is not a leader unless they have followers. You can have a title in an organization, but if no one is following you, you're not really a leader. And so leaders are self-aware because they're always asking the question of themselves, why would this person want to follow me? What is it about me that they say, yeah, I'm committed to this person. I want to do my best job for this person. So that's the number one quality of a leader, self-awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness. And I think this is very lovely, especially how you differentiate between leaders and managers. Managers just want to get the task done, not minding how it's been done. Or compared to leaders, they care about the people, despite even if they care about the outcome, they are willing to actually take them all along while the outcome is achieved. The people are happy achieving it together, and that was really amazing. So, David, if you could actually leave my audience with one message or call to action today, what will it be?
People have aspirations. We all have dreams, goals, things that we want to accomplish. And so the key message is the fact that we have to understand that we talk deeply about purpose, but we are also people who are endlessly creating. We were born to create. So we were born to move forward, to move towards our dreams. That is why we were given gifts and talents. What is important to understand, however, is that we begin that creating first thing in the morning. So we begin to create our lives through our attitudes and behaviors every day. So when I get up in the morning, and if I have a loved one or a partner, a spouse, whatever it might be, I have children, my is being created by the way I express my love and affection for them, the way I might affirm them. First thing in the morning, I'm creating that dynamic in the family relationship, or the relationship, as I said, with my loved one. And then when I leave the house and I go to do the things that are mine to do that day, I'm creating by the way that I interact with other people on the way, whoever that might be. I might affirm them just because of my gratitude for some service that they may provide me, that and I will never see that person again. And then when I go to my workplace, I'm creating the dynamics in the workplace, whether people admire me or don't admire me, how I care for them. It's a constant creative process that we are all involved in. And we need to be aware of that, and so it's called, I call it living consciously. I'm living with awareness. I'm conscious of who I am, and again, like a leader, my impact I'm having on the world. And I really feel that is one of the most important lessons that anyone can learn.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for actually sharing. So many persons actually see retirement as an ending. How can it instead become the most meaningful and creative chapter of one's life?
How can the next part of my life be the most meaningful chapter?
Yeah, no,
Is that the question?
No, many persons see retirement as an ending. How can instead of that becoming most meaning and creative chapter of one's life?
Yes. Well, let's tie it to what we were just talking about, creation. All right.
Creation.
So the creative spirit expires. That creative spirit within us expires only when we expire. So it's there to the end of our days, to the end of our days. What happens when we retire, we have this period of time where our identity has been tied up in what we've done. So we haven't had to think a lot about what's my purpose every day, because I go to work and I do what is mine to do, and I've got a reason to get up in the morning. Now, when I retire, that identity is in the past, and I have to create a new identity. And that is the identity. So rather than talk about retirement, there are other words. Think about refirement. I'm getting refired for a new chapter. I'm reigniting my life into a brand new chapter. But what that takes is the courage to reflect. It is to take a look at my life now and ask myself the questions of what is important to me now? What inspires me? What fulfills me? Who inspires me? And therefore, how do I now look for ways to take all that I have learned, the skills and talents that I still have, but now I have one other thing that I didn't have when I was younger. I now have wisdom. And now I have that opportunity to provide that wisdom to other people. When an entrepreneur wants to start a business, the mantra is find a need and fill it. What is the need out there? What is the service that needs to be provided? And how could I fill that need with a product or service? Right? Use that same opportunity when you are older. Okay, what are the needs out there in my community? What are the needs out there in society? And there are many. There are so many opportunities to be of service, to do things that are fulfilling. And I think what all of us need to understand, and this is a part of wisdom, is that we live life on a feeling level. We want to feel good. Obviously, from a health standpoint, yes, we want to feel good physiologically, but we also want to feel good emotionally as well. That life is worth living. And when we do things that are meaningful, when we do things that are important, when we are of service to others, what happens is the wonderful result of that is good feelings. I feel good about myself. I feel like I'm contributing. I feel like I'm providing value. And that's the way you make that transition into retirement and into then refinement and then the reigniting of your life.
That's really amazing. I think the fact that when you just tie retirement as another transition towards asking the question more like from an entrepreneurial perspective, what need can I actually feel? How can I actually do? And it's really more like it's really engaging the fact that you're seeing it that very way. You actually more like looking forward to how do I bless the upcoming generation? How could I become more? How could I and there's a whole lot of things to actually learn in there, being that again, life is about contribution. And this is really, really amazing. So finally, how can someone who feel like their best years are behind them rediscover excitement for the future?
What's really important there is to, first of all, shift the way of thinking to say, yes, I've perhaps had a lot of really good years, but
Yeah.
it's still possible that the future, that I can make my next years some of my best years. And that comes back to, again, what we've been talking about. There's still a lot of things that I can do, a lot of things that I can create. And let me give you a personal example. We have so much to learn. We will never, as a human being, ever learn 1% of what is out there to be learned about
Yeah.
our world and the universe, right? But each journey is very individual. My journey is my journey, your journey is your journey, and everyone listening to your podcast is on an individual journey. And it's not cliche-ish to say that we are unique because we are. We are. No one has the same face, right? Everyone has a different face. There may be some similarities, but everyone has a different face. So our next years can become some of our best years by doing something that I did several years ago. I have a process in my books called "One Day I'm Gonna," which is an expression as one day I'm going to do this and one day I'm going to do that. But most people live in that world of one day I'm gonna, and they never do anything, right? They just it's that world of not moving forward. Well, I help people move forward. I take the one day I'm gonna to I'm gonna. And several years ago, may as well be honest with your audience here. I turned 80 this year. I'm gonna be 80
Good.
years. I cannot believe it. What the heck happened, right? But just before my 72nd birthday, I was doing this for myself. I said, okay, David, what's at the top of your one day I'm going to list? And I discovered it was to go to college, which is the way we talk about university here, right, in the United States, right? So I'd never been to university. I'd written 4 books, I'd produced 2 documentaries, I'd spoken all over the world, but I never spent a day in university, which some people think, my God, that guy must have a PhD, but I didn't. And I said, okay, you better get moving. You're going to be 72 years of age. So that September, which is when the university year begins here, I enrolled at this magnificent university where I live, the University of Minnesota, and I became a first-year student and began a march towards getting a degree in at university. And I've been going and I love it. And I'm involved with lots of young people and they keep me vibrant and energetic. Yeah. So here's an invitation to you. I'm going to graduate when I'm 94 and I want you to be at my graduation.
Wow. Wow, this is really lovely. Yeah, really inspiring. Being that, yeah, as much as you think about some times that have gone that you have not done much, definitely there's still a whole lot that you could still do looking ahead. And the fact that, yeah, taking action actually speak volumes to that, other than from the perspective of regretting over what has gone. And it's really, really amazing. So, David, for my audience who want to connect with you, want to reach out to you, and who wants to learn more from you or get your book, how can they reach out to you and where's the best platform?
Yes. Well, my website is very comprehensive, and that is, www.davidmcnally.com. So they can learn all about me and my books on there. I'm not too sure, whether people can buy where you are on Amazon.
Yeah, they can.
Uh, you can? Okay, excellent. Well, then they're all available. All 5 books are available on Amazon. My new book, If You're Alive, Your Mission on Earth Isn't Finished, is a book that's more aimed at what I call the people you were just discussing, the retirement people, the 60 plus crowd. The other books are really wonderful career books. And you can also get in touch with me at info@davidmcnally.com. So if you want to write to me, ask a question, be in touch, love to hear from any of your audience. I really would.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, insight, and strategy for thriving in every phase of life. Listener, if you want to actually more like explore David's work for, visit davidmcnally.com to learn about his book, keynote, and our personal journey. Remember, no matter your age, there is always opportunity to live purposefully and to make the next year your best year. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch up on the next episode. And once again, it's really a pleasure and an honor having you on the show, David McNally.
Thank you, and thank you for all of your work and your contribution. Very important work. Thank you.